My name is Miles Saunders and our team name is the Salty Dogs. As a group, we decided to focus on the band Fleetwood Mac. Fleetwood Mac was formed in London in 1967 and has sold over 100 million records throughout their career. Their most popular songs include Go Your Own Way, Dreams, and Everywhere. Unfortunately, as their band members came and went, so did the group's success. Throughout this presentation, the Salty Dogs will analyze the band as experts of small group dynamics.
My name is Marina. I did roles in Power. For roles, Peter Green was the guitarist, Mick Fleetwood was the drummer, John McVie was the bassist, Jeremy Spencer was the slide guitarist, Christine McVie was the vocalist, keyboardist, songwriter, and she paid some of the artwork for their albums. Stevie Nicks as well as Lindsey Buckingham were both singer-songwriters. Their roles definitely did change when members dropped out or came back throughout the years. As far as Power, Mick Fleetwood, Peter Green, and John McVie started the group, so they held most of the power at first. However, as Stevie Nicks had her solo career, she became a big success and she kind of took some of the power. And again, as members worked on certain projects or songs that the group was working on, they held most of the power at the time. According to the Business Communication Quarterly, published in September 1997, teams are assimilated into an existing functional hierarchy. The interaction between team members tends to reveal conflicting loyalties. So when there's differences in people who are taking control, it can affect their group negatively. It also seemed as if power shifted depending on who wrote the song, as I said earlier, and even their own manager tried to take control of the band at one point.
Hello, I'm Andrew Walgren, and I'm going to talk about the influence of size and adaptability to change in the band Fleetwood Mac. Mick Fleetwood, the founder of the band, looking for a guitarist, assembled a group and in part brought in lovers Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham. He didn't care that Lindsey and Stevie were a package deal, showing that Mick Fleetwood didn't care about how big the group eventually got. Eventually, the lack of transparency over the situation between the lovers and their transparency to the rest of the group caused rifts in the group. This change over time can be seen when recently the group kicked out Lindsey Buckingham, despite previously having a veto rule for every member in a popular vote. This was not shown when they made the decision to kick out Lindsey Buckingham.
The actions of Peter Green happened to be the turning point of the success of Fleetwood Mac. Through the abuse of LSD, he began to develop mental changes. He became unreliable and the band found that they needed to add another member to ensure their progress. Unfortunately, the new member, Danny Kerwin, wasn't getting along with Peter Green and was shortly fired after a brawl with guitarist Bob Welch. The actions of Peter Green started a ripple effect with Fleetwood Mac and eventually led the band to imploding.
Fleetwood Mac had many unhealthy established norms at the peak of their rumors' popularity. One such established norm was heavy drug and alcohol abuse by the band members. Cocaine was used liberally throughout recording sessions and was an established part of the group's identity. Bassist John McVie, in particular, was frequently intoxicated and would become enraged and abusive towards other members. When inebriated, McVie would engage in behaviors such as screaming at his ex-wife and bandmate Christine McVie in public outside of her hotel room. However, with cocaine use as an established norm in Fleetwood Mac, John McVie's drug use was allowed to continue unabated. It was accepted within the band that drug use was something normal and not deviant or self-destructive. The pressure of conformity further strengthened the norm of cocaine use. Since every member abused drugs throughout the history of the band, members would feel like outsiders if they weren't abusing drugs. For the discussion of norms and conformity, our group cited an article from the academic journal Human Communication Research.
Today I will be speaking about the band's current status. The band did not end, but they did had a falling out with one of the members, Lindsey Buckingham. According to Martin Kentley, from an article published on March 19, titled Fleetwood Mac Split with Lindsey was the only route. It was Lindsey parting of the band was unavoidable. It was either Lindsey left or the band would completely split up. The quarrel had been building up between Lindsay and Stevie Nicks for a while on disagreement during their tour. Their fight leaves Stevie Green announcing that he could no longer work with Lindsay, but this is not confirmed. The band said Lindsay left and they did not kick him out, but Lindsay claimed otherwise. Lindsay tried to sue the band, but failed and they settled outside of court. The band now each gone on their own tour, and also Lindsay.
Mick Fleetwood was the leader of the band. It was known that he led the group because he was the first one to create it. According to Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society B, Biological Sciences, they define leadership as the initiation of new directions of locomotion by one or more individuals, which are then readily followed by other group members. Fleetwood Mac's leadership style was democratic. We see this democratic style from the article in Uncut, stating that Fleetwood attempted to hold the ring, adding the roles of guidance counselor and social worker to that of band leader. It is seen that Fleetwood himself was able to bring leadership to the group. As for making decisions, the band used minority rule method. Mick was designated by the group to become the expert to make decisions because he had the most experience in the music industry. With Mick being the decision maker, it put a limit on other people in the group. At times, the group members weren't able to hold collective decisions. We see leadership and decision making taking a toll on the band, resulting into solo careers.
Like any group who have worked with each other for many years, there's always problems that arise. It's the synergy of the band that made them so great, whether they've triumphed because of their famously volatile relationships, or in spite of it, Fleetwood Mac has risen from the ashes of their own self-destruction more times than seemed possible. In the past 50 years, they have found a home for themselves teetering on the brink of implosion, unwilling, or perhaps unable, to let each other go. When they split up, only a few members flourished when it came to a solo career, such as Stevie Nicks. The band had its problems just like any other band, especially in the 70s through the 80s, from drug issues to relationship dramas, but this is what made the band so relatable to their fans. From all their inner struggles came beautiful music that translated beyond themselves to touch the hearts of others. In all of the struggles that Fleetwood Mac had, it was what made them so great. From all of the hardships and the struggles came a band that was dependent upon each other, and in the end, the music that was created from it all showed in the synergy that they truly had.